We're here at CMC Classic Motor Cars in Bridgenorth in Shropshire, which for us has been great because it's only been a short drive from our home in Shrewsbury. I'm here with Nigel Woodward, who is the Managing Director of CMC. Nigel, thank you so much for showing us around. It's been an absolute joy. Can you give us a little bit of backstory about who CMC are, their history?
Yeah, sure. So we've been around for about 28 years now. We've always been here in Bridgenorth on the Stanmore Business Park. We moved into this big building in 2014, so we sort of quadrupled in size overnight when we moved into the building. We're an employee ownership trust, so the majority of the shares of the business are owned by a trust, and everybody that works here is a member of the trust. Right. So it's quite an interesting sort of dynamic within the business, and I think that works really well both for our customers and for our employees. So every time a customer brings a car and it's being worked on by a shareholder effectively.
Brilliant.
So that's quite a nice thing for us. We're probably one of the biggest specialists in the UK. We're on 60,000 square feet here, just over 30 employees. One of our sort of more unique features is that we do everything under one roof here, so there's very, very little that leaves the business. So at one end we've got car storage, we've got our own dyno, do all our own mechanical work, paint, engine build, trim, panel work, the lot, everything, as well as car sales and parts. So it's it's an all under one roof. If it's anything to do with classic motoring, we cover it.
You can do it.
Yeah, we cover it.
Because obviously you've shown us around a bit, and we've seen cars in various states of build, some that have come for kind of sympathetic work, some that are nut and bolt restorations. Obviously we've seen Bulldog. But also, as you say, you do sales. It's all under the one roof, which I should imagine some of your clients, if they're particularly with a ground up restoration, they find that
I think it's quite reassuring, because by doing it all under one roof, I mean, yes, it's a complicated business, but it gives us control, and it gives us control over time scales, cost, and most importantly, really quality. And we're masters of our own destiny. So it's we like it I like it from the point of view of how we run the business, and I think our customers like it because it's a one-stop shop, and we're responsible for it. Yep.
Brilliant. How's lockdown been? Because obviously we're all in this we're sitting here with face masks on, and how's it been for CMC?
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think as with most businesses, it's certainly been a challenge. And in fact, I closed the business for about 7 weeks earlier in the year. We had to. A number of us weren't very well, and we just had to do that. But since we came back in mid-May, we've been extremely busy, I'm pleased to say, both in the workshops and car sales wise. And I think the classic car world, if you like, has been something that a lot of people have turned to in this time of doom and gloom and uncertainty and all the rest of it. And I think people they want a ray of sunshine in their lives, don't they? And I think that's exactly what a classic car is, and it's about the experience and the enjoyment that that provides. And we're here to help with that. That's exactly why we're here.
And as we said, something like Bulldog, which is such a unique story. I mean, there's only the one car. There'll never be another Bulldog. That's a bit of a good news story as well, isn't it?
Yeah, lovely good news story, isn't it? It's a British icon, being resurrected, being brought back to the road. It's got a lovely backstory. Richard Gauntlet's involved with, involved at the centre of all of this, managing the project for the owner. And of course, Richard is the son of Victor, who was the owner of Aston Martin at the time that Bulldog was around. So it's just a brilliant good news story, and fantastic.
Well, listen, can we just say thank you so much for letting us come,
no problem.
have a look round, film the car, talk to you. It's just been an absolute pleasure for us, and thank you very much.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Lovely, thank you.
So Bulldog.
Here we are, and incredible to see it. Please just show us around it.
Okay. So, well, as you can see, we've completely stripped the car over the past 6 months or so. We've got the chassis on the jig system here, and a lot of the work that we've carried out over the past 6 months has involved the chassis, which did need quite a lot of repairs doing to it. I'll show you at the rear of the car here. So pop the clamshell up and you'll be able to see. There we go. So a lot of this new tubing has been put in place because the original was damaged. So at some point in the car's life it sustained some damage underneath, and we needed to replace it. And you know, the strength and the rigidity of the chassis is obviously quite crucial. Also, being a prototype car, there's quite a lot of aspects of the way the chassis was constructed and then changed during its development, you know, as quickly as they possibly could, no doubt, in order to you know, to allow the development program to move on apace. So a lot of those areas we finessed, you know, and strengthened and improved, because the car ultimately is going to be used by the owner on the road, so it's got to be strong, safe and reliable. So as you can see, a massive tubular sort of structure to the chassis.
It's so thick, isn't it?
It's immense, isn't it?
Yeah.
But when you think about the power output that they were getting from the car, you know, at sort of 700 horsepower, you know, it would need it. So you know, you can see we've got some pretty meaty engine mounts there that we've rebuilt to carry the engine. So engine sits in this space here, directly behind the driver. So you know, his right ear is, you know, very close to the water pump spinning round, and a transaxle, ZF transaxle in this space here, and driving through two drive shafts and a de Dion axle. And the de Dion's actually on the bench over there. We can have a look at that in a sec. Again, that needed quite a lot of reconstruction. So.
Is it dry sump? Because obviously
it's a wet
sump. It's a wet sump, and coolant-wise, the coolant actually feeds down through the outer chassis rails. Oh my goodness.
So you know, the two outer chassis rails, hot down this side, cold back from the radiator on the other side. To the radiator at the front. So well, quite a good idea in many ways, because it saved having any trunking or conduit for the coolant. You just use the chassis tubes. So you know, not a bad idea. Yes, well, the originals were actually there was a copper liner inside the steel tube. We've actually slightly gone a stage further than that, and we've got a high tensile stainless steel outer chassis rail, right, which will carry the coolant directly. Okay. So yeah.
My goodness, though. It's quite some.
It's immense, isn't it? It's an immense construction.
And so it's steel tubing.
Yeah.
Aluminium.
Yeah. So
panels.
All the coachwork is aluminium. So the coachwork was in pretty good order, really.
Yeah.
It needed a little bit of work from the point of view of, you know, gapping and flushing and what have you. And there'd been, for instance, at the rear of the car, there'd been a few iterations of the exhaust system. So originally the exhaust exited through the rear bumper. For some reason they changed it. Presumably it was causing an issue. To these outlets here, and then the final iteration, or the iteration of it, when the car arrived with us, was actually more or less straight down out underneath the car. Yeah. So there's some decisions to make as to which variation of that we end up with, you know, and that sort of research is sort of ongoing.
And the plan is very much for the owner to use it. I mean, you talked.
Yep.
Yeah. When we were talking before, you talked that there's going to be a attempt at a 200 mile an hour run.
Yeah, indeed. So the brief really is to make the car usable.
Yeah.
We're going to return the car back to its original sort of 1980-81 colours and interior trim, and it will look as it did when Aston Martin were using the car, you know, as you know, for their marketing and promotional purposes. So it will be in those classic colours and that classic appearance. But really, yes. So the car was obviously a prototype. It was a concept. It was then brought to a stage where it could be used on the road when the car was sold by Aston Martin to its first owner, and in that process the colours were changed, interior trim was changed, and we're sort of, so if you like, we're both taking the car back to its original appearance and and building all that originality back into it, but at the same time we want to make sure the car is safe and reliable, and the owner can enjoy it, and the car is used on the road as much as possible, because I think we all want to see it on the road.
And for CMC, I mean, this is, you know, it's a bit of history as well.
Absolutely,
isn't it?
yeah. I mean, we've done a lot of, we've restored a lot of, you know, very historic cars in our time. So very early number E-types through to all sorts of cars. And but to get something that's as iconic as Bulldog, I mean, to this day it's the only mid-engine road car Aston Martin ever built. It's a unique car on its own. It's the only ever built one. And it's got that sort of mythical status, hasn't it? It's that mythical beast of a car that you know, that occasionally would come to the surface. I mean, the last time I saw the car was 2013 at the Aston Martin centenary celebrations in London. Yeah. And the poor old thing was, you know, obviously hadn't turned a wheel in anger for many years, and you know, was looking a little bit sorry for itself. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing it, you know, back as William Townes envisaged the car, and with the performance to match. And
I mean, obviously, you know, we grew up, people our kind of era grew up seeing this on Blue Peter, on Tomorrow's World. Yep. You know, it was a real kind of, and particularly for a small company as Aston was then,
yep.
You know, to kind of produce something like this and to see it and to hear it and see it moving. I mean, it was incredible, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
it was absolutely. Yeah, it was a glimpse of the future.
It was. Wasn't it?
I mean, the moment these doors opened, so the doors are electro-hydraulic. So there's a big hydraulic ram which opens the doors up. You know, the moment you see these doors opening up, you know, synchronised as they both open together, you know, it was a view of the future back then, I think, and you know, I can't wait to press the button for the first time and see them open, to be honest.
And so, what's the time scale? I mean, what's the anticipated time?
We've got about another year before the car is on the road, or drivable, if you like. There'll then be a test program. You know, ultimately it is a performance car. It's got a significant amount of performance, so we need to make sure that the car's safe, you know, and before we go out and do some high speed testing. The owner's aim is to get the car to 200 miles an hour. I certainly don't think we'll be lacking in horsepower to do that. And then after that, I think there's a lot of events, and you know, the car will go around the world, no doubt. Yeah. But about a year before it's, you know, it's on its wheels, and yeah.
Goodness. And obviously, I noticed on the website for CMC, you guys are keeping people up to date with it.
Yeah.
It's very much become a key story, hasn't it?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Particularly when half the world is in lockdown, to have something like this.
I think it's a nice good news story, and we, you know, I get, I don't know, I must get half a dozen emails every month from people all around the world, you know, saying, oh, I remember the car, you know, back in the day I went to this event, I took, you know, here's a photo of me with the car, wow. You know, I'm now an Aston Martin owner, you know, and here's my car now. So
one of the things we've just been talking about is just how big it is.
Yeah, it's huge, isn't it? So as well as the engine and transmission, you've got 4 fuel tanks which sit here.
4?
So yeah, 4. So 2 either side, one top of the other. And then and the seats start about here, so almost about midships, really.
Yeah.
So the driver's sitting virtually midships. So yeah, you've got this massive, great long door, which I think must make you know, getting in and out quite a lot easier, to be honest.
And it's so wide as well.
Yeah, and it's wide, isn't it? Yeah. Well, it's I'm quite pleased about that, because hopefully it'll give it some stability as well. So.
And this is where the door controls were.
Yeah, so there was door controls both sides, so of a little flap like a fuel flap, and a pair of buttons to open and close either side of the door. Yeah, either side of the car. Yeah. So no windows don't open; they're fixed windows. No external door locks. It's got an air conditioning system to keep the occupants cool, and that's something that again will probably be sort of boosting the output of that a little bit.
Yeah. Because you couldn't get the door.
No, there's nowhere for the glass to go, is there?
So
that wasn't part of the design. Yeah, interesting. So we're, good air conditioning system though, and then of course at the front you've got these 5 headlights. Not not quite sure how they were going to get those through construction and use regs, but anyway, the 5 headlights, and so normal operation hidden behind the flap, and then you turn the lights on and the flap drops down.
I mean, what must that do to your aero?
Well, yeah, good question. Yeah. I think when we're running the car at speed, we'll keep the flap closed. I think it's
But I mean, it goes to show how kind of far-thinking Towns was in terms of.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Where everybody else had pop-up headlights, you know, he did the opposite.
He did the opposite.
Yeah.
But even this panel here, you can kind of see the very gentle suggestion of an Aston.
Yeah, of an Aston grille. That's right.
But he was kind of looking ahead and thinking about the future. And,
yeah, for certain.
It's an incredible piece of kit.
It was clearly a ground-up concept, and you know, bearing in mind Aston Martin had never really, you know, built anything similar. Yeah, absolutely.
So another year, 18 months really.
Yep.
But obviously a brilliant story for you guys. Well,
Yeah.
for everybody to enjoy.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
this is. You know, the reason we're here is that somebody noticed it on the BBC and said, "You've got to go and have a look at this." You've got to, you know. So thank you so much for
absolute pleasure
showing us around it. It's just been incredible, absolutely amazing. So it's just been under a week now since we saw Bulldog sitting there at CMC in Bridgenorth. The shell, the chassis tubes, bits of the suspension. And it is an incredible story, and I'm just kind of putting this out there as a postscript really to what you'll have seen on this video up until now. And it's just amazing to see this car being restored right back from bare metal to something that will in 12 to 18 months time be turning a wheel under its own power and possibly going very quickly indeed. It's just incredible, and it reminded me as we walked around CMC, as we saw all these amazing motor cars, that actually the cars are kind of rolling stories, really, rolling stories of people in various times and places getting together and saying what if, and none more so on that day than the Bulldog, which I remember as a child coming out to real amazement from the public and the press alike. So it was just really special to see not only the car itself, but to see all those stories kind of being retold, and all those stories of all those people finding a new chapter as the restoration takes place. It's a reminder to me of why I like cars. Not just as objects in themselves, but in the stories that they carry, in the people that are connected with them, in the skills and experiences bound up of people as they produce cars like Bulldog, which are pretty special. And it reminded me too that we're still in this kind of real state of flux in this industry, and particularly with the COVID situation, that on the one hand it's brilliant to have a good news story like Bulldog and restoration taking place, and on the other it's a reminder that those amazing skills of people up and down this country really do count on the support that anyone with an old car can give them in any way, really. So it was a very special day. It's a great story. It's an amazing vehicle, but perhaps more amazing still, the stories of the people both here today and those gone who are connected with it, that really make an impact. And so I hope you've enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll look for some more in the very near future. Thanks. Bye-bye.